Okay, so this is a video blog for day 29, 30 and 31, covering the period from the 27th to the 29th of July. I'm still in Prague, and I'm just touring with my friend Sandy in this church up near Old Town. And this church has a bit of a famous legend back in the 1600s when there was a thief who was actually coming in to steal some stuff during the night. And as he approached a statue of Mary, Mary grabbed his hand and he couldn't be released anymore. The next morning, a priest came in to sort of open up the church and found this thief hanging by his arm. They couldn't get him free, so they actually got the town's execution to come off and cut this guy's arm off. And then they actually hung his arm, which you can see right here, up on the wall as a sign to all the other thieves. The rest of the day was pretty quiet. We just toured around, had a walk, sent some postcards and saw some local dancing. That night we'd go out, had a bit of a party, came back at stupid o'clock in the morning, and this is just the area where I was actually, where I'd get the tram off and go to where I was staying in Prague 6. The next day I went on a tour to Kotnua Hora, which is about 1 hour outside of Prague, and we had a small sort of tour group. The first part we saw was a bit of a cathedral which is owned by the monks, and it was managed from here. Kotnua Hora was famous for two things: this bone chapel and also some silver mines. This bone chapel was quite important. It was recognised as a holy land in like the 5th or 6th century, and then as time sort of come on, many people were buried here. So in 1870, having so many people in the actual cemetery, they dug it up and they didn't know what to do with the bones, so they made this chapel decorated by human bones. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of people and stuff buried in there, and they said there was over 40,000 sort of people. After the sort of bone chapel, we started catching a bus, and then went up towards another beautiful cathedral and a church, which I can't remember the name of, but it was shows the contrast of this actually being owned by royalty and the amount of money that went into here versus the church, which was owned by the monks. As you can see, it's absolutely beautiful and stunning inside. A lot of money has been invested into making this look very good, and over the time you can see the different parts of architecture as they continue rebuilding and making this church even more magnificent throughout the times. After sort of visiting the church, we sort of left from here and went down towards a place to have some lunch, and then continued walking down through the village of Kotnua Hora to where we were catching the train ready to head back into Prague. And as you can see, there's that church we were looking at before, and you can see as it was built up throughout the sort of times. Getting back into Prague, we have to catch this little putt-putt train, and then we get off at a stop into a more civilised train and to get into the spot. On my last day in Prague, this is where I was staying, the beautiful couch in Martina's house. The outside of the apartment doesn't look too good, but inside it was quite modern. On my last day, I had a bit of a quiet sort of time, didn't do too much, but went to the Museum of Communism, which was quite interesting, and they also had a thing talking about North Korea and their issues. One magnificent piece of equipment I did see at the museum was like a Soviet-built meter-based rangefinder, which all the other navigators would sort of know is quite important. And you can see that piece of equipment right there, which looks quite similar to the ones that we still use on board our ships. This is meant to be an interrogation room. Good old Stalin himself. The powder tower. This statue here, which is just near Charles's Bridge. And then after that, went back, had a shower, picked up my stuff, and then got back on the night train, but this time it was such a much more pleasant experience. The train was a little bit vintage, maybe it was Polish, and I did meet some pretty cool people on the train. There was an Indian guy, and there was these 5 correction, 4 Portuguese people who were also travelling, and I caught up with them again when I was in Krakow. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed my update, and I'll speak to you guys later on. Take care. Bye.